What's new from the Barbados Light and Power Company? With your host, Nicole Scantlebury.
Here are the news headlines for What's New Radio in October.
What's news?
Light and Power Rate Review. The Clean Energy Bridge project protecting our environment and safe and sane during COVID. Hello, I'm Nicole Scantlebury, Communications Advisor with Light and Power. We begin this month with information about Light and Power's application to the FairTrading Commission for a review of electricity rates. We know that there is no ideal time for a rate adjustment. This application is only the second one filed by the company in nearly 40 years, requesting an adjustment to its electricity-based rates. While the cost of living has increased almost 40% since we last set our rates, Light and Power has invested in careful cost management and efficiencies so that we are able to make an application for an 11.9% increase, which is significantly lower than the increase experienced by our customers for other goods and services in the same period. To hear more about the context and background to the application, What's New Radio edited excerpts from our media call following the filing of the rate review application with the FTC Commission. Managing Director Roger Blackman began the media call with a prepared statement.
The reasons for a general rate review filing at this time are twofold. One is to ensure that the company can continue to safely and reliably meet the current and future energy needs of our customers. And secondly, to seek approval to implement a more cost-reflective rate structure that will be more suited to facilitate the changes expected in the reformed electricity market and Barbados' transition towards 100% renewable energy generation. We continue to be aligned with and are committed to the Barbados government's green energy goal of achieving 100% renewable energy and a carbon-neutral island state by 2030. The achievement of this goal will require different rate-making mechanisms from those that currently exist. To date, we've invested in several projects to advance this transition from fossil fuel generation to renewable energy. These include a 10 megawatt solar farm and a 5 megawatt battery energy storage system at the Trent power station in St. Lucie. Grid modernization initiatives such as the implementation of advanced metering infrastructure or AMI platform, those are the smart meters that you would have been seeing deployed over the past couple of years. Installation of distribution automated switches and the deployment of a geographic information system or GIS to facilitate higher penetration of renewable energy on the national grid, and the installation of a new 33 megawatt clean energy bridge plant at Trent St. Lucie. This is a plant that's currently under construction and should be commissioned within the next few weeks. All of these expenditures are absolutely necessary to realize the country's goals and to maintain a safe, reliable, and resilient electricity service that meets customers' needs for continued higher quality.
A question was asked about whether Light and Power's current system was robust. Roger Blackman.
Yes, we are. We have seen some significant tests to the network over the last year. So COVID would have tested us administratively in terms of making the changes in how we do business, as I indicated at the start of the call. And the things like the Hurricane Elsa, the freak storm, lightning storm that we would have had, the ash fall back in April, those were quite significant tests on the grid, some of which have residual effects that we still have to manage going forward. But we were able, based on the plans that we have in place and the procedures like our storm preparation and planning, to work through that. We say power through those events and have the restoration completed in a manner that for an event of those sorts we believe is adequate. And we have been managing the network and operating, I think, credibly and well in the context of a very challenging environment.
What's new from the Barbados Light and Power Company?
You've been listening to edited excerpts from Light and Power's media call on Friday, October 8th, to discuss the application to the FTC for a review of electricity rates. Light and Power's application is not yet available to the media or public. One of the questions our customers would like to know is when will the new rates be in place? Typically, when an application is filed, it can take up to 6 months to complete, and only when the FTC has reviewed and examined all the evidence to support the application and a decision has been made by the FTC that a rate adjustment is warranted, will the final bill impact to customers be set by the FTC. Before that time, we welcome your comments on our proposals. You can email us at blpcrates@blpc.com.bb.
What's new from the Barbados Light and Power Company?
You're listening to What's New Radio with me, Nicole Scantleberry, Communications Advisor for the Barbados Light and Power Company. Light and Power's 100-100 vision, 100% electrification, and 100% renewables continues to be forefront in the way we do business at Light and Power. One of the pillars of our 100-100 vision is environmental safety, to preserve and minimize the impact of our operations on the environment by reducing CO2 emissions and also contributing to the health of our communities. My guest this month is Dave Skeet, Project Manager for the Clean Energy Bridge project in Trent, St. Lucie. Welcome, Dave.
Thank you, Nicole.
It's so good to have you here. So let's begin with a short recap. What is the Clean Energy Bridge project, and when did you begin to work on it?
Okay, so the Clean Energy Bridge is a new 33 megawatt medium speed diesel plant which Barbados Light and Power is constructing at our generation site at Trent, St. Lucie. The plant is called Clean Energy Bridge because it is a bridging solution between existing generation, which is predominantly fossil fuel burning plant, and the country's future plans for electricity production, which will be predominantly renewable based. So in the short term, this plant, once it goes into service, will keep the production cost of electricity down by being more fuel efficient. These savings will be passed to the consumer. The plant will also be a more reliable plant, so our customers can expect fewer outages. In the longer term, it will serve as a backup plant to cater for those periods when renewable sources have lower output. In terms of when I started to work on the project, that would have been in December 2017. Some work would have been done prior to that, like planning studies, site development studies, environmental impact assessment studies. And for most of 2018 and 2019, we did development of specifications, preparation of tenders, tender evaluations, contract development and contract negotiations, and site preparation.
You started to mention it just now, but at the beginning of every project, there is an environmental impact assessment. This is to ensure that the Clean Energy Bridge meets the required standards set out by the Environmental Protection Department. So I'd like you to share some of the key features of Light and Power's environmental safety plan at Trent. Like, tell me about the noise at the plant, how noisy it is, and what things you would have implemented to help mitigate that.
Okay, so the plant is designed to meet the requirements as set out in the planning permissions. So the noise intensity must not exceed 52 decibels at the perimeter of the LPC site. 52 decibels is about the noise of a typical refrigerator. And of course, the intensity is less further away from the perimeter. So our closest neighbors probably will not even notice when the plant is running. The plant has some features like ultra low noise radiators, which are positioned centrally, and the buildings housing the generators are also built with an extra layer of noise insulation, which we call noise reducing shells. There's also a noise wall on the western side of the plant. Aside from the impact on surrounding communities, it's also important that our employees work in as safe an environment as possible, so the plant is designed to meet international standards for occupational noise exposure. Vibration as well, the plant has been designed to international standards and compliance will be verified during commissioning.
Okay, thanks for that, Dave. Another question I have, CO2 emissions, that can lead to climate change and is a concern for many people. How is the Clean Energy Bridge mitigating those emissions?
So the plant is more efficient than the older plants which it will replace. So that means that for every unit of energy that the plant produces, it uses less fuel. And it will also run on a cleaner fuel cleaner than we would have been running on previously with our older stations. So there will be a reduction in emissions compared to an equivalent capacity older plant.
Could you tell me a little bit more about the cleaner fuel?
Okay, so this cleaner fuel is a fuel that has a lower sulfur content than we would have been using previously. It also has a lower ash content. So what this means is that there will be less sulfur dioxide emissions and also less particulates. Particulates would be what you see as smoke when you look at the stack coming from a plant. The design of the stacks was informed by dispersion modeling. This is using several years of wind and weather data to determine worst case conditions with respect to wind speed, wind direction, etc., to ensure that the plant has minimal impact on air quality on the surrounding environment. All of that was taken into consideration in the design of the stack, the heights and so on of the stack, things of that nature.
Thanks, Dave. So I heard that there is an innovative cooling system. Can you describe what it does?
So the plant will have a closed loop cooling system, which makes more efficient use of water compared to our other plants. For this plant, we are not consuming water from wells on the site. Water consumption is very low and the losses are made up by main supply. The plant also comes with its own water treatment plant, a reverse osmosis plant.
So we've spoken about noise, emissions, innovations. What about monitoring and research to make sure that all of these are functioning as they should?
Right, so there are monitoring programs for noise and emissions. And during commissioning, firstly, tests will be done to ensure compliance with the limits which are stipulated for the site for both noise and emissions. Barbados Light and Power has proposed an air quality program which is currently under consideration by the EPD, and once approved, it will see us monitoring air quality at various locations upstream and downstream of the site once the plant goes into service. Same for noise, monitoring during commissioning to ensure we meet the requirements, and then periodically to ensure compliance once the plant goes into service.
Okay. And finally, Dave, before I let you go, it's estimated that there is a 10% reduction in fuel costs anticipated from the commissioning of our new clean energy bridge. Can you tell us when will the project be completed?
So we have successfully completed the first phase of commissioning in September, and we expect to complete the second and final phase around the end of December, which will involve noise, emission, and performance tests. So we expect that by the end of January, the plant will be in commercial operation.
I'm sure a lot of our customers are happy to hear that. Dave, thank you so much for coming on the program once again to share with us some insights about our Clean Energy Bridge project. It's always a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you very much, Nicole. Pleasure was mine.
What's new from the Barbados Light and Power Company?
Safe, sane, and sanitized.
Safe, sane, and sanitized.
Stories to keep hope alive.
Hi, I'm Jeremy Britton, a member of the Barbados Light and Power Company Limited Customer Feedback Panel. During this time of COVID, it's been especially challenging for most people, I would say. I don't think that COVID has spared anyone across any field of work at all, or even anyone anywhere in the world. In my situation, obviously, there's always been challenges. As a person who's working at a company who has kept working, constantly having to be out there in the field working, and also at work, what's even challenging is that the rest of the family is home working from home, and then we have a 1-year-old baby who we can call a COVID baby as well. So with a wife that's a teacher, it's definitely not easy getting all of that done and not being there for them because I have to be out at work as well. So what I like to do is to just take the family outside in the evenings at the edge of our curtilage. But yeah, just come outside, get a breath of fresh air, walk up and down, relax, and try to take it from there. Because we all need that moment where we could disconnect from it all, disconnect from the daily activities, disconnect from all the news and the heartbreak that's going on around us.
What's new from the Barbados Light and Power Company?
That's What's New Radio for October. Thank you to our project lead, Paula Palmer, contractors, and teams who have completed the LED changeout street light project. That's 24,250 LED lights across the island. Keep up to date on what's happening at Light and Power on our Facebook page or Instagram, BLPC Online, or contact a customer care representative at 626-4300. Tune in to What's New Radio every month on this station. Bye for now.
This program was produced for the Barbados Light and Power Company by SFA Communications.